And then she and I were reading together, and I said the words wrong, and she was correcting me, but she was doing it kind of harshly because she was following along. And I was like, okay, thank you for helping me. I said, remember, I'm dyslexic, and I sometimes, I mix up my words, so thank you. And she looked at me dead serious with ice in her veins. Are you really dyslexic? Or are you lying about that too?
Oh.
Welcome to Three Little Fishes. We're three sisters who grew up in the Midwest together, but have since spread across the country. I live in Los Angeles.
I'm in Nashville.
And I live in Philadelphia. We are all married with children, have all had careers, but now we stay at home with our families.
Join us as we share secrets and stories about being women, wives, and mothers.
We welcome you to laugh along, learn something new, reach out, and join our conversation.
So let's jump in.
What's up, fishes?
What's up?
What's up, fishes?
So, Nancy, all of our listeners, Nancy and Tim won their Eddie Award last week. So that is like a huge celebration. So an Eddie Award for our listeners is American Cinema Editor Awards. And Tim's team won for Welcome to Wrexham, the TV show.
Yeah,
so
yay!
It's an unscripted award. So congratulations. I just want you to know that I was on spring break when this happened, and you sent a picture of you walking the red carpet, and you looked amazing.
Yeah,
she had this strapless emerald green dress with like these gorgeous cutouts at the hem and these gorgeous sparkly gold shoes with these big hoops, and your hair looked amazing, like goddess level. I showed your picture to everybody, and everybody was like, wow, that is like a knockout dress with knockout hair. So you looked incredible, and I know it was a fun night for you guys.
Well,
so
I thought Tim looked great.
Tim did. He slayed that black tuxedo.
Yeah, you guys really did look killer.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Congrats, Tim. We're happy for you.
Best dressed.
Thank you. Well, it was a really fun night. I did not win the award. Tim and his team and coworkers won, but it was a fun night, and I was excited for the team because I think Wrexham is a great show. And if you haven't checked it out,
very good.
Should check it out. It's really good, and you can watch it with the family, and the storytelling is excellent. So congratulations to all of the Wrexham crew. You guys, I'm gonna confess, I'm a little bit out of sorts. So the award ceremony was super fun. And one little thing I wanted to say about that is that one of their coworkers, one of the editors who was nominated, everybody took Ubers to the event. And when she was heading to the event, her Uber driver got into an accident. And so she showed up. Luckily, she was wearing her seatbelt, and she had a huge mark that was left from the seatbelt, and she was totally shaken, and she, was a mess. And
it's dedication to the award ceremony. I would have been like, to the hospital, please.
I know. Well, I think
was she on time, or was she?
She was on time, and she was the one who actually accepted the award on behalf of their team, and she gave a beautiful speech. Because it's a big deal, and she really wanted to be there. And since she, it wasn't obvious broken bones or anything, she felt like she could do it.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking about Uber. I don't ever think about it for whatever reason that I'm getting in a car with a stranger who's driving me around. And I, half the time, probably don't put on my seatbelt. Like I'm going to think it's this magical ride, like nothing's ever going to happen to me. So it just got me thinking, do you guys ever have a problem with Uber? Or have a situation like that happen? It's scary.
It's funny. When I actually am a passenger, and like if you guys were driving me around, or when I'm driving around in the back seat with Peter or my kids, I never put my seatbelt on. But I do when I'm in an Uber, because I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Are you like a safe driver?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to do something like radical, and I'm going to be like fly, out the window or something. But because I was
Yeah.
in Texas with Grayson a couple weeks ago, and I specifically was like, I'm putting my seatbelt on.
Yeah.
I would not normally do
So
that here.
I'm actually the opposite. I always wear my seatbelt. I think after Princess Diana died in the backseat of her limo, I just always
Oh,
started wearing my seatbelt all the time. I don't know why that
oh,
triggered me. And we take Ubers all the time. We live about 20 minutes from downtown. Like, in fact, Rich and I went downtown last night together and we took an Uber because if we even have, like, if we think we're going to have one drink, we always get a car.
that's good.
So, and we always wear our seatbelts, and our kids do too. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just sort of like triggered my head, like when she died in that limo. I was like, because before
Yeah,
that, I don't think I did, and I don't know why, but now I do.
yeah,
So I don't
Well,
know.
I'm going to, because it saved her from getting really hurt,
Yeah.
and she's like walking away from this accident. But
Yeah,
right.
so that was like actually, I mean, the accident's not great, but that she didn't get hurt is a banner night, and then she won
yeah,
an award, a banner night. So I feel like that's a win for her all the way
Yeah.
around. And it was a win for you guys. You looked incredible, and what a gorgeous celebration that was. You guys looked, I mean, that was just fun. Such happy faces I saw in the
yes,
pictures.
it was exciting. It's exciting.
But then after that, what happened at your house?
Y'all, so something has happened at our house. And if you have little ones, I'm going to talk about some delicate issues, and you may want to pause and wait to listen when there's no little ears in the car. So then, since all that like happiness and fun, the flu has struck our house.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
So
The worst.
Johanna, our youngest, has influenza A, and she has gone down hard.
Ugh,
But before I realized that she had the flu,
yeah.
she was excited about St. Patrick's Day, which has passed, but she wanted to make a leprechaun trap.
Mhm.
But she
Oh.
got the supplies out, and then she decided she didn't want to do it, which kind of should have tipped me off that something was wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just don't feel like doing it. I'm like, okay, no problem. You don't need to do one this year. It's supposed to be fun. So then we're having dinner. She doesn't want to eat. And then she says at dinner, well, even though I didn't make a trap, I'll be excited to see, what the leprechaun does to make mischief here. And I was like, well, if you don't make a trap, the leprechaun doesn't make mischief. And then she started sobbing hysterical.
Oh no.
And I was like, what's going on? She's just like, I don't know. So many questions. And I guess she had asked Tim earlier in the day, do you make mischief? Are you the leprechaun? Like, do you do it?
Oh.
Mm.
And Tim said, no, I don't do it, because he doesn't. That's like the one holiday he doesn't do.
Okay.
He's like, so I was telling her the truth, but she was asking the question. So she basically asked the question, and we felt like we needed to answer it. So then we had to talk about,
Oh, that's sad.
that it's not a real thing, but it's just supposed to be magic and fun. And she was just devastated. She crawled up into Tim's arms. She did not want anything to do with me. She said that I was lying and I was a liar.
No.
And then she said, let me guess, the Easter Bunny's also not real. And I was like, right, again, it's all about the magic, all about the magic. And then she worked her way through,
all the holidays.
all
Yeah.
the holidays with reindeer and all the things.
Oh,
So
no.
the heartbreak was real. And then she and I were reading together. I thought we had kind of gotten through it. And she was like, I was reading and I said the words wrong, and she was correcting me, but she was doing it kind of harshly because she was following along. And I was like, okay, thank you for helping me. I said, remember, I'm dyslexic, and I sometimes, I mix up my words. So thank you. And she looked at me dead serious with ice in her veins. Are you really dyslexic? Or are you lying about that too?
Oh, oh.
And I was like, oh,
Oh,
ay,
boy.
ay, ay. So
We
we
got a lot.
had to, it was a lot. And then we
Yeah.
realized pretty quickly after that she had 102 fever, and that it was just, everything was, over after
Her
that
off.
point.
Yeah. I'm sorry that shook down like that. I honestly don't think I've
convers-
ever said those words. Like, I think, of course, my children are now like adults and everybody understands it's like fun magic or whatever. But I don't think I ever said the words like, listeners, if you have children in the
Yeah,
car,
I don't think you should
pause.
say it. You should
But
say
I
it.
never said the words. I always said something like, you got to believe to receive for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
So
The same in my family.
yeah.
We've never really had the talk about it, but it is a sad day. I mean, I remember when I found out when I was probably Johanna's age too. I was like kind of crushed. Like, what?
Because you want to
So-
believe in something like
Yeah.
fantastically magic, and it is sad to learn that it's not really there. But then our oldest one started helping us like keep the magic for the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a fun bonus like thing. But now, nobody lives.
I
with
mean,
us
it
anymore,
is still
basically.
magical. Like, it is what it is. Like, you still kind of believe, like, yeah, you're not good. Santa's not coming.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's how I've always said it. I've always said, or we've said, I've been tried to be careful with the verbiage. Like, it's magical, it's just fun, it's the spirit, and that can still live on. And our oldest took it way better than our youngest.
Yeah. Well,
So I just quickly want to remind everybody to please continue to like, rate, review, invite your favorite school of fishes to jump in and join our conversation. Today, we're going to have a little bit of a different show. We're doing everything but the kitchen sink and talking about all the things. I wanted to also come back and revisit for Linda that you just got back from spring break
I did.
with the moms and your 18-year-old senior high schoolers.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go? Did everybody come back? Did you have to bail anyone out of jail?
No one got
hopefully no jail.
No jail. Everybody made it. Although, sadly, a couple of days before we got there, there was a 20-year-old that vanished on the beach in the middle of the night. That is, I mean, it's real. When you go on spring break, you want to like have those mindful conversations. Everybody, don't go in the ocean at 4 a.m. Like after dark, stay out of the damn ocean. It is not safe.
I totally agree.
Did the 20-year-old get found?
No, they have not found her body.
I think they're saying they want a death certificate like today.
Oh my gosh.
So I actually did see search and rescue walking on the beach. I did see helicopters over the ocean the entire time we were there trying to find this woman, and it is super sad, but we actually made it out unscathed. I'm so happy about it. We had a great trip. It was the first time I think the boys were all legal in a place, and it was all inclusive, so they could drink to their heart's desire. And there was a casino, so they did some gambling. I mean, we did have like a couple of bumps in the road. Like night one, somebody had to sign a form that they weren't going to sue the casino for falling off his chair. And then they did.
Oh, it must have been quite a fall if you had to sign a piece of paper.
I actually feel like he jumped up and knocked his chair, but it looked like he fell off of his chair. So that was one thing, night one. And then another night, the boys couldn't find one of their friends. Like they were in the casino and they all wanted to go to bed because we did a boat ride the next day. They couldn't find him. So actually my son and the kid that he was rooming with, they lost their third roommate. So they filed a missing person report with the security, and they found him asleep in the bathroom of the casino. So I said to the mom who was there, I was like, the upside is they looked for him. They did all the right things. He wasn't far. I mean, it all worked out and it was fine. And the boys never went on the beach after dark. So I was happy about that. And
I think that should be a rule. That should be a rule. No one in the water or on the beach after dark.
I mean, there's no good that's going to come. It's not romantic. It's not romantic to get sand places. It's just not fun. So don't do it. It's silly. So we made it through. Everybody did a great job. We had a good time. I don't know that I need to go back, but it was great for what we did and what we wanted. So all in
So do you
all,
feel more excited to let these kids go off to college? Like you feel like they're ready to go after what you witnessed? Or are you feeling like, oh, we've got to figure this out before September comes around?
I think they're ready. They made good choices. I mean, did they overserve themselves a couple times? Sure. But I mean, they took care of each other. I think they had a great
That's good.
time. I mean, we went through like customs and stuff. I didn't even go with my son. Like he was with his friends. They figured it out. They're smart. They're gonna be fine. Fingers crossed.
As you're crossing your fingers.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Did you and the moms like go crazy? Did you guys go to the nightclub? Did you do body shots?
no body shots, but I will say me and my roommate, we were the only parents that actually went to the nightclub. And I just wanted to check it out. But the nightclub didn't open till 11 p.m. And then you could see there were people from other parts of the island coming to this club. And it was like wild. They had professional dancers. They had a professional DJ. It was like sort of like smoke filled or fog filled or whatever. And I was like, I'm getting in there and I'm going, but I'm not going to wait in line. So I waited until like almost midnight. And then I went in and it was packed with 20-year-olds. And I weaved my way through with my friend and checked it out and danced a little bit. And I think I was in there for 15 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I've seen it. I've seen the boys. They're having a great time. And then I left. So, but I mean, I'm well beyond this like headbanger, mosh pit, loud music scene.
It's funny, you guys, because so my son Grayson is here this week on spring break, and he was supposed to go away, but he didn't go. His friends went. I think some went to Mexico. I think we're trying to figure out a trip to Florida, but didn't happen. So he's been with us for the week, and I think he's bored. He's like, I could have been in Cabo, and now I'm here with you guys. Like you're like on my case about a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome home.
Yeah, it's a little different experience being at home.
Yeah. Well, our girls, like one daughter was home when I was gone, and she hung out with my husband, and they just had a couple nice meals, and it was kind of boring. And then next week, our middle child will be home, but she's coming home and she's working because she's like all about making money, which I wish my other two were all about. So anyway, yeah.
I feel like Riley needs a job because he is in this phase of he always has buyer's remorse whenever he buys anything because he's growing. So he needs new clothes. So like you take him to a store, he tries it on. He's like, I like it. Then he brings it home and he's like, ugh, I don't like this fit. So then he complains he doesn't have any clothes because he doesn't want to wear it. So similarly thing just happened is that he's a soccer player and he needed new cleats because he literally was getting holes in his other ones.
Yeah.
Like, yes, let's get you some cleats. So, they're not inexpensive. They're at least $130 or $40 because he wears man size shoes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, like sometimes they take a minute to break in, but I was realizing he was playing in a tournament and he was taping his shoes that have holes in them. And I'm like, what are you doing? You have new cleats. He's like, they're terrible. They're terrible. I can't stand them. I can't break them in. And I refuse to wear them. So I'm like, of course you have buyer's remorse. Of course.
Right.
So then I'm telling Tim this and he's like, well, that can happen. You can get a bad cleat. So I had something going on where I couldn't take him to get cleats and Tim's like, I'll take him before his next game and we'll get him handled. So like we gave him an allowance about how much we are willing to spend on these cleats and find something that will work in this price point.
Yeah.
And before he went, he was like, I really think I want these cleats, Mom, and they would be amazing. They're like $320. And I'm just like, what? I don't even buy shoes for myself that I'm not putting holes in and I'm not outgrowing for $320.
Yeah.
So they go to the store, he and Tim, and he picks out these cleats and he wants them. So he ended up, we gave him the allowance of what we would spend, and then he kicked in the rest. And he went to his games and he came home and he was like, these cleats are amazing.
They were magical.
They're the best things ever. I played lights out. Mom, I told you, these cleats were it. And I'm like, I love this for you. But what? So now, bonus, he has these other cleats that are hardly worn, just sitting on the bottom of the closet.
I told you what you should do with those.
So do what with them?
Trevor told me about this app. It's called Sideline Swap. And you can post sports gear on the site. You take a picture of it. You tell about like what it's about, like the size, color, brand, like condition of it, and then the price that you want for it, and then you post it, and then people will pay you in the Sideline swap. Sorry, I don't know why that's hard to say.
It's hard to say. Yeah,
we cleaned out our basement last week, and there was a bunch of sports gear that the kids had for a bunch of lacrosse stuff, like all kinds of stuff. Hockey. Yeah. And I mean, Trevor has sold so many things, and we said he can just keep the money, just like, let's sell it. Cause it's better than just junking it or giving it away. Let's try and sell it. So
that's a good little secret. I had not heard of. It's called Sideline Swap.
It's great. We've sold several things.
I mean, this is a good way to motivate people to clean out all the junk. Yeah. Like we have so much hockey equipment from all the ages, we haven't gotten rid of anything.
Yeah.
So like we had brand new hockey gear we hadn't even worn that would just kind of go to waste. So, I mean, it's been perfect for Trevor, and I'm happy.
I love that. Yeah. Cause it's cleaned out your basement. I love that. I'm going to pass that along to Jack.
I think that's a teenage thing, a phase they go through. Cause my older son goes through that even now.
Yeah.
He buys something and be like, oh, I'm not so quite sure if this is the right size. No.
Yeah.
Then he'll take it back and get a different size and be like, no, maybe these shoes aren't right. But I think it's growing pains. I think they have to work it through themselves.
Yeah.
And then eventually, hopefully they'll figure it out.
I know. How many times a day do we probably say there? How many times a week do we say the frontal lobe?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's exhausting to be around, honestly. There are times where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I hear you. I mean, it's rough. Yeah.
We might not make it. We might, but the times where it's super fun too. Yeah. The energy is super exciting. But the time it's a wild ride, isn't it? And you don't understand it until you're in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So one thing we didn't talk about that we should talk about in terms of spring break and travel and stuff like that is this Real ID is coming to a point where we all have to use it by May. And
May 7th.
Yeah. So in Tennessee, when we went and got our driver's licenses, I have a Real ID that I got in 2021 when I got my driver's license here. And it was really the only choice. I don't even think they do regular driver's licenses anymore. And here in Tennessee, it's $28 to get a driver's license. But I think it's different in every state, right?
Yeah.
How is it in Pennsylvania?
So I actually just had to do this for real because my youngest son had to get his driver's license. You have to have your proof of identity, and you have to have your social security card, and you have to have 2 proofs of residency. Mm-hmm. So, but the renewal fee is $30 here. And then you also pay almost a $40 fee for the 4-year license. But now you need it, and the Real ID now have stars. That's how you know if you have a Real ID. Yeah. But everybody needs to have it. If you don't have that, after May 7th. You can't fly unless you have a passport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of a pain for people if they don't have it.
So get your real ID. Yeah, you want it. It's silly to try and fly around with, just your passport. So get your ID. It's worth the energy and the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing I think we really wanted to just touch on, if you're listening to this on Thursdays, where we usually drop our podcast, you have a couple hours to finish your NCAA bracket. And we did one for the Mosher Madness, which we talked about last week, which raises money.
Support Mosher Madness.
Yeah, so it does. They do donate their entry fees to a great cause where it's like supporting
Kids
children,
Voice.
Kids Voice, who supports like children that are going to court for whatever reason and don't have an advocate. So it helps support
a lot of foster kids.
Their legal fees. So if you haven't done your bracket and you are so inclined, quick hit the link for Mosher Madness that we've posted in the show notes and fill out your bracket. You've got like a couple hours if you're listening first thing Thursday morning. If not, stay tuned for next year.
So the Three Little Fishes did a Fins Up Fishes bracket in Mosher Madness this year.
Hopefully we win big and then we can donate our...
Let's say do we want to say who we had to win?
Who do we pick? Who do we pick the Final Four?
We picked Michigan State, Duke, Florida, and Houston.
Yeah.
And we picked Michigan State and Houston in the championship. And we picked Houston. So maybe I hope we win.
Go Houston.
I don't think I ever would have picked Houston to win it all, but Grayson was also around when we were talking about it, your son who goes to school in Texas. Yeah. And he was like, oh, it's going to be Houston. So I don't know if he
influenced.
We got the Texas influence for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You never know with this tournament. There's so many upsets and stuff, so it is kind of crazy. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you girls about, and I want our listeners to chime in and send us a note. We were kind of talking about maybe doing a rotating no spend on something like a month. And I struggle with this because I'm the purchaser of in my house. And could we do a month where we don't buy clothes for a month, or we don't use Amazon for a month, or we only buy local for a month? Like, is there a way to do a no spend or like tweak it somehow where our listeners could participate with us? Like, can the fishes not spend or have a category in a month? What do you think? So I don't think I can give up Amazon for a month because it's so convenient and so easy. And I'm also very addicted to Instacart. That makes my life so much easier. But could I maybe not buy clothes for a month? Yeah, maybe. Could I maybe not buy sweets for a month? Yes. Like, I don't know. Could we come up with something?
So I have a friend who's giving up Amazon and she's really trying to do everything local. And it does have me thinking, could I give it up? I think I could give up Amazon I think I could do it.
I don't think I could.
I don't think I can.
So let's all kind of think about it. What starting April 1st or the first week of April, let's come back to this. And listeners,
are we pretending like we're giving up something for Lent? Like, what is this? We're giving up.
I don't think it has to have anything. For me, it doesn't have to do with Lent. It's just an interesting thing.
It's just an interesting exercise. Can you do it? I don't know.
Maybe it just being mindful of consumption and how you're doing stuff. So let's maybe think about it. What could we give up for a month?
I think I could probably not buy clothes for a month. But I just went on spring break, so I did buy a couple of things.
Yeah, you already spent your allowance for like the year.
Not the year, but like, when the weather changes, I have a tendency to buy a sundress here and there, which I've done recently. So, and we have graduations coming. Kathy and I are in that phase where we're like hosting stuff and attending things. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think I could do no clothes. I have to think about it. I don't know that I could give up Amazon though. It makes life too easy.
All right. Send us your
Think about
thoughts,
it.
everybody.
Sounds good.
And the other little thing is, and Kathy, I'm particularly thinking about you, is because the pod launches on Thursdays, and Thursday is the first day of spring.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Woohoo! Yay, spring.
I don't know what it is about spring, but I love getting my like little, I have an Easter bunny, like little wreath for the door. All my cute little Easter things come out. And our flowers are blooming now. My daffodils.
Yeah, your daffodils are
They're
gorgeous.
super happy right now.
Oh my gosh, I love that for you. I don't
I
have
know.
daffodils in our yard, but our yard is green and we have blooming trees. And I will say, I'm going to get out the grass seed and start spreading it because spring here in Tennessee is very wet. So it's a great time to
Yeah,
like
this
plant
is a great
things and
time
just
to like
get it in the
seed.
ground and, make the yard pretty and get
Yeah.
some flowers out there.
Looking
So
up.
happy spring.
Things are greening up here, which makes me super happy. And this is the time to plant your seeds for March.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I actually just wanted to make a shout out to one flower because I know Nancy loves daisies, but there's a flower called Cosmos, which you should plant now that are seedlings. They are like daisy-like, and you can get them in all different colors, like white, purple, pink. They have a yellow center, and they're super cute.
Okay.
Sounds
So-
pretty.
I think we should get some. I'm gonna look for that.
Let's plant some Cosmos.
Let's do it. I'm in.
And then maybe drink a Cosmo.
And
Two
they're
Cosmos.
one of my favorite drinks with my mother. So let's make it a Cosmo spring.
On that note, what's for dinner?
So I am going to post in the show notes something that I really love for springtime and summer. It's like a black bean, corn, like hearty salad, and it has this like sweet spicy dressing, and it's from Food Dolls, which we love. So look for it in the show notes. It's delicious.
Sounds good. Well, we're grilling out tonight some steaks for my son, honor of my son Grayson being home.
It's party time at your house.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, we've gotten like the whole bar out. I'm like, what's going on here?
I know when the kids are home, it's like a whole different dynamic in the house.
Yeah.
Well, if he can't be in Mexico with his friends, you might as well bring Mexico to you.
I guess so.
Yeah, Margaritaville.
Okay. We want to thank you for listening to our podcast and letting us sisters jump into your day. Please make sure to follow, rate, and review us. Please don't forget about our book club because we're going to review it next week, Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayborn. Please, happy reading, and you guys have a great weekend. Sisters out.